So, good afternoon. My name is Zach Simcone, and I'm going to be talking about the pro-slavery argument. So, just to start, a quick question. How would you guys feel if slavery was taught as something that was good and benefited our country? I think that's ridiculous. Obviously, we all know it as something that's very bad, so I don't think it would be good, but there are arguments that would make slavery beneficial. So the first thing is just the North versus the South. In the 1800s, the South obviously was all for slavery. They wanted it to stay forever. They still wanted it to be here today. The North was not quite sure. A lot of people in the North were iffy. They weren't, they were actually capturing slaves and hiding them in their house and keeping them so slave catchers couldn't get them. So the North wasn't quite sure what they wanted. The first benefit was the economy. The economy went crazy from slavery because there were so many people working for free and they were producing so many things that the economy was blowing up, and this was starting to convince the North that slavery was good and that they should support slavery. There were still some people in the North who didn't, but the economy was a huge part, and a lot of people had more money because of this, and slaves were producing stuff at such rapid rates that they were able to make so much money. And then the next thing was the production of cotton. Cotton production was at an all-time high, and it was great for the economy. There was 3.2 million slaves throughout the time, and 1.8 million of them were picking cotton and producing cotton for the slave owners. So, quote I have, "The production of cotton brought the South more firmly into the larger American and Atlantic markets. About 75% of the cotton produced in the United States was eventually exported abroad. Exporting at such high volumes made the United States the undisputed world leader in cotton production." And this came from The Slave Economy by David Kennedy. So this obviously is another reason that people were pro-slavery, and just all the cotton and all the money and everything that it was bringing into the country. It was making our country a better place, but people were forgetting to realize what was going on to make our country a better place. And then opening of more jobs. When these African Americans went to become slaves, it opened a lot more jobs for other people. And then they were able to make more money, and then they were able to support their families. But again, something they were forgetting to realize is that they were ripping families apart by sending slaves to the South. So there was benefits, and a lot of people liked those benefits, but they weren't realizing what was really going on. So the overall pro-slavery argument. So when I started this, I asked you the question, how would you feel if slavery was taught as something that was good? Well, I think everyone in this room can agree that it would be really weird, and we would all disagree because of what we do know about slavery. But in reality, there really were pro-slavery arguments, and they were really good ones actually, which convinced a lot of our country to believe that slavery should stick around. And now today, there still is some sort of slavery. It's not the same as it was, and it's not as brutal as it was, but there will always be racism, and everyone will always be treated differently, just maybe because of the way they look or the way they act. So this is something that'll never really end, and it's unfortunate because everyone should be treated the same way no matter what. And that's my bibliography.